Hello, my loves. How are you? So, there's multiple things swirling around, and I wanted to share some of those here and also open up with you guys and let's see where this is heading. So, back a few months ago, we touched in, I think, on YouTube, where I spoke about the wizard wounds for the masculine and where they had like those magical masculine aspects that they were disconnected from, and they had a similar mirror point to the feminine's witch wound, where their magical aspects were um like demonized, so to speak. So you're talking about like the wizard, the sorcerer, the shaman, the druid, things of this nature. And as it started unfolding, this feels like it's coming in as part of the ageless codes, is also my sense around it, which is why I wanted to open it up here with you guys in a deeper way. And let's see what wants to come forward. Because as this has been unfolding, it actually started last night. And it really feels where the masculines, what I felt today was actually anger within the masculine system and frustration. It was interesting because it came in as like feeling very connected and happy and light. And then it was like this deep, dark, angry heaviness of feeling like everything felt hard and a frustration around knowing deeply that it shouldn't have to feel hard. And the masculines feeling this deep knowing that things are meant to be easier. They're meant to be easier for them and their life. It's also meant to feel easier between the masculine and the feminine. And so this anger and frustration has been coming up. And um, my sense is that obviously this is within the masculine collective, but as we've talked about over and over and over again, this is also an energy that lives within the feminine because of the masculine ancestry and the masculine energy within. So my sense is, as I'm saying this, that there's that mirror point with the witch wound and the feminine aspects. Okay, and now that's bringing me into something else that's been coming in the last few days for the feminine, which is the feminine, what I'm feeling with the feminine and the feminine collective that's in this place of moving into the Empress energy, the Empress era. I wrote down a specific message this morning. Just give me one second. It's like Empress energy, the embodiment of the full array of the divine feminine, sacred feminine aspects, which I mean, that wasn't that big of a deal that I guess I needed to write it down. But at the same time, sometimes these things that are so obvious, when they're coming in a new way, or they're landing, or we're embodying in a new way, speaking them out loud, writing them down actually helps to ground and embody them in a deeper way. So, overall, what I'm feeling is for both the masculine and feminine collectives, as well as the feminine and the masculine counterpoint, these energies are coming up to be restored, to be embraced, to be embodied. And as I'm sitting here, it's just so obvious that this would be perfect a part of the Ageless series. So I'm absolutely going to address these energies for both the feminine and the masculine in the next Ageless session, which I believe I will be recording and posting today. The first one is already up for those of you who didn't see my latest video, and it went a lot quicker into the divine counterpart energies than I expected. But I guess like we're ready at that deeper level where we're needing the all of our aspects and also receiving the mirror point and the gifts from the masculine for the feminine and the gifts from the feminine to the masculine, and just allowing these energies to reharmonize. And what was coming in as an overarching energy, and why this is important, is when we look at the planet and how things have been split and how people have been sort of manipulated to be against one another. We see this obviously politically or environmentally or racially, and then obviously sex and gender. And when we come down to the basic foundation of creation, it's the masculine and feminine together that build a foundation of creation and co-creation. So unraveling and resolving the manipulation between the masculine and feminine that has kept them apart, or in the energies of projection onto one another, so we can see one another more clearly in the actual truth, in the divine truth, in that embodied feminine energy and the embodied masculine energy, as we all hold our true essence and energy, all of our aspects, all of our dimensions, all of our memories, all of our soul gifts and talents. And this feels like a really important sort of like melting pot moment for us to address this. Let these energies be remembered, and received and reharmonized, and if necessary, retrieved off other timelines or frozen in our subconscious, like bringing our awareness and our energy to feeling safe to allow our aspects, all of our aspects, our magical aspects, our, we call them magical aspects because we've been taught to suppress them or be scared of them, but they're really just a part of our true natural nature when we're looking at and tapping into our true DNA, the 12-stranded DNA. If all of our DNA was activated and available, these are just a natural part of our being. And by opening up our capacity to remember and to invite those parts of ourself back to the table, to the forefront, and then learning how to work with and wield our abilities, our talents, and our gifts in heart centered and aligned ways are foundational. They're important not only for our own well being and restoring our energy and essence and our potential agelessness, but restoring our gifts, restoring our energy, our memories, our soul wisdom in a way that we can work with in physical form in our physical bodies. And again, preparing to more clearly and deeply co create, embodying the sacred union energies in the physical world, and allowing those to unfold into that deeper embodiment of unity consciousness. So, these are really just about the restoration of our true natural nature, and just allowing those parts of you that are ready to come home, to allow any of the trauma or the pain or even the fear of your own power to be resolved and dissolved. And I can feel there's a bunch of different things within this process where there may need to be some restoration or reparation for some past life or multidimensional experiences, because we've all played different roles in different lifetimes, right? So all of the experiences that we see on our planet in the 3, 4D, all the extremes that we see at a soul level we have all gone through lifetimes or experiences of being in those roles, and we're here and cleaning those up, repairing and paying back our karma, learning to love ourselves and master ourselves, and forgive our own selves for what we may have done in past lives or where we felt we made mistakes in this life, but we can always repair and reharmonize those energies by learning the lessons and embodying the lessons and becoming the version of us that no longer goes into those warring energies or the projection, right? So we can really more deeply and clearly step into taking personal responsibility for all of our experiences and um, unravel those old victim energies, experiences, and lifetimes, whether we were the perpetrator or the victim or the savior, or most likely a little bit of both across lifetimes, or all three, right? Across lifetimes, maybe even in this lifetime. So, again, this is what I'm going to dive into in that next ageless session. I will put that in the pinned comments for any of you who would like to join me within that. But I also want to pull some messages because I was gifted this absolutely gorgeous deck by one of our lovely subscribers and participants here on the channel. Olivia, thank you so much. She sent me this gorgeous Spirit Cards Oracle deck, and I hadn't heard of it before, but immediately the energies um, just spoke very deeply to me. And the card that came forward last night was actually connected to the divine masculine. And you know what? Maybe I'm just gonna, yep, here, he's right here. It came through from the divine masculine and the spirit warrior. And I was having a conversation with a friend around how the feminines are really embodying into all of the sacred feminine goddess energies, and even how I'm becoming a lot more deeply aware that even as we are aging as females, as feminines, and how society looks at us at being a certain age or being young and being youthful and being fertile are like the be all end all. But there's actually a lot coming up and coming around that as women go into perimenopause and menopause, yes, there's shifts, obviously, just like any stage of life shifts, but there also comes a shift in the energy where actually, as the feminine goes into perimenopause and menopause, the energy is actually now available to restore the feminine and to come back to her body. Obviously, because I'm speaking about perimenopause and menopause, I'm actually speaking about the physical human feminine form. And for those of you who aren't in a physical female body, I still feel there may be some energetic messages and energy in this for you, because I do feel that there's usually always some form of a mirror point for an actual male masculine body. So um take that however it resonates. But that as we come into this idea of getting older or aging, right? This is more about learning how to work again with our true capacity, our true abilities. And just because our physical fertility is changing around our capacity to birth human children, this by no means diminishes our power or our capacity to birth ourselves again and to birth new creations and new co-creations on our planet. And in fact, in many ways, I believe deeply as we learn how to work with our energy and these parts of ourselves, as we love ourselves through this maturing process. I'm going to call it the maturing process versus the aging process at this point, because it just feels more appropriate, I guess, in this moment. Not that there's anything wrong with aging, so to speak, but it doesn't quite fit that energy and essence that I believe we are evolving into. So as we mature as a human being, right? Because we've talked about this, our lifespan as it's set up right now, 70s, 80s, 90s, it feels like you're just getting started. It just doesn't hit right for the level of work that we're doing. Um, so I'm very much here for this. I um, am in the middle of this process for myself. So it's by no accident, I believe, that this is occurring at this time. And we're here at the forefront, no matter what age we are, no matter what stage of life we are in, we're always maturing. And so it's about learning how to work with and harness our energy of where we're heading and unraveling the old limitations. And so I know I just spoke about the feminine, but this masculine warrior spirit warrior came in. And when I pulled this card, I was just blown away by the energy that came through. It was such a stable, grounded presence. In fact, even when I was reading from the card, it felt slower. And there's two frequencies or two energies that are wanting to come in that feel very important. Because in my most recent video, I saw a comment from a beautiful subscriber speaking about us coming to, like, as things heal, it's like we're supposed to stop aging at 33. And I had never heard that specific age, but I did feel the 30s felt aligned to me. So that made a lot of sense to me. Now I'm 48 years old, so I'm well past that. But it, in a lot of ways, energetically, I feel that we can touch into that version of ourselves. And we think of that high frequency and the lightness helping us to um, have that more youthful presence and energy. But what's coming through from the spirit warrior in this beautifully grounded, present masculine energy is how we can take those higher frequencies, those light frequencies, our light bodies, and help to anchor them down into the physical. And this feels like where we allow the lightness and the agelessness to merge with physical form, those sacred energies, that sacred embodiment. To me, the sacred energies are where the divine meets the physical form, where we touch those elements of earth, right? The earth, the air, the water, the fire, all of those elements that create form, that create substance, that allows the higher frequencies to come into physical form. And so you, as a human being, as a being that's living on this planet, you just being you, and allowing your higher self and your higher soul to come into physical form and to connect deeply with the earth, you become the living embodiment of these ageless energies together. It's like all of it together, all of the aspects, all of the chakras, all of the dimensions, all of those things together allow us to, what's coming through is like mature through our experiences so we can harness the wisdom that we are learning, not only from past lifetimes, but in this present lifetime. And help us come to this point where, what is it? It's like, our soul, our spirit essence never dies, right? It's infinite. And our physical form may eventually choose to leave, right? But it's like getting back to that point where our soul may leave and our body will return back to the earth elements. But what I'm seeing and feeling and sensing is that the presence and the essence will always be available. It's like when you come into physical form, that's your soul merging with earth essence. And there's more with that. And this is why these wizard wounds and witch wounds are important to address, because it's the deeper, more deeply connected aspects of our sacred energies, our sacred aspects that are deeply connected to the earth magic, the earth energies, and our natural nature. So, again, we're talking about those shamanic energies, the warrior, the warrioress, the priest, the priestess, the wizard, the witches, however you resonate with it. It's really about, again, no matter what the aspects are, even if it's something that you feel may have hold shadow essence from another life, you may have even chose to shut down those aspects because maybe you weren't doing such nice things in other lifetimes. Maybe you feel even scared of your own powerful aspects. And if that's the case, well, you can work to harness, to learn from those mistakes, to bring in the heart centered higher power energy to those aspects. A lot of times, those types of things happened out of a wounding, right? Think of like the Grinch or Tadaho in the Journey of Peacemaker. So you have these energies that come out and seem evil or bad or um, harmful, but a lot of times that's coming from a wound, right? So we have like hurt people. So there may be some of that lingering in the background is what's coming up. And if you would like to retrieve that essence and resolve any wounding that was done to you or that you did to others, that's something that you could absolutely look into. And if it's something you would like to explore with support, you can book my advanced soul retrieval session, and we could explore that within that session as well. But overall, this just is really about the restoration of all of who you are and cleaning up what needs to be cleaned up and reintegrating what the energies that need to be reintegrated so that you have access to all of your nature and your essence, which is an important part of retrieving the ageless codes, my love. Okay? My loves, because I know there's more than one of you here with me. But all right. I am going to pull, I know this is probably getting long, but I did say I wanted to pull some cards. So let's see what else I have right here, right now. Opening up messages from the masculine or the feminine. Let's see what we got. Okay, I said three, but four came out. We have the Five of Wands, which very much to me speaks about getting all of those aspects back together and harmonizing together, right? The shadow, the light, the wounds, all of those aspects, even ones, like I said, that you may have been afraid of, learning how to get those all to work together, like all having a seat at the table and harmonizing and reaching for that higher power, right? It's like you need all of you to build at the levels that your potential allows for. The more of you that is reintegrated, the more energy and life force you have available to continue to grow and build in the way that you're wanting. This feels like this is like all of a sudden how this feels is like the Eight of Wands feels like where all of a sudden all those aspects, like you see here, they're really trying to get it together, right? But they're coming up, they're coming together, they're even wearing the same outfit, they're getting in sync, but it's still a little messy, which to me, this feels like exactly where we are collectively. We're absolutely growing, we're absolutely in process, but we're in the reorganization process. And then, boom, all of a sudden, it's like you keep going, and all of a sudden, things really start to sync up. And it feels like this spark as everything comes together. And it feels like in this space right here, you see it's almost syncing up. It's like exactly where this piece pulls in. And to me, how this is coming in is as you focus on organizing your aspects and your capacity and your pieces of the puzzle, all of a sudden, that other piece that you've been reaching for, whether it's the counterpart or an opportunity or um, the conglomeration of all of your gifts coming together, is like clicking into place. And as this organization happens and you have the opening, and then it sinks right in. And from there, we have this Six of Swords and Knight of Pentacles. And how this feels is that as that clicks into place, it's like you're through the process, you are releasing what's no longer necessary, honoring the wisdom from whatever shadows you've faced, and allowing the wisdom that you've gained to carry you forward to the new shore, to the new landing. And in this space, how this actually feels to me is where you will meet. It feels like as you land, you meet soul family that has been planting the seeds and calling you home, is how this is coming through. And this to me feels like where things sink. This is like sinking back up within and within the higher connection to the earth. And as that embodiment sinks in and lands, then you start to be pulled back together with soul family and sinking back up in the physical world. And I know some of you have already actually been experiencing this. So you may find that you're actually potentially retrieving and recovering your aspects together with one another or even within a community setting. Okay, my loves. I'm going to leave this here. I know this was a lot, but it feels right on time and right in sync with where things are heading, and this opportunity that we have to allow ourselves to do these deeper retrieval and reharmonization um, energies so that we can embody our part. Okay, my loves, everything will be in the pinned comment. If you have any questions, I'm here. Feel free. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Much love. Peace.